Happy Sunday. Oh my goodness, is this that chick? That chick has got I'm stunned. That chick has changed so much in the last 10 days. That's crazy. I haven't seen this chick for a while, so I am shocked. Apologies. Hi, welcome to today's episode of Live at the Waterhole. Currently live at the Nest. My name is Kelly. I'm going to be with you for the next couple of hours on this fabulous Sunday afternoon here in South Africa. It's the 3rd of August. It's just past 12:30 here. I'm absolutely stunned by how quickly this chick has grown. I'm sure it feels like it wasn't more than sort of 10 days ago. This chick it almost looks like it couldn't stand. It had little bits of black on it, and suddenly it's up and looking extremely eagle-like. It's completely changed colour. And look at the strength in those legs as well. I'm quite surprised by that. Thank you all for joining us. Please do remember we are very much live and interactive today. We love to hear from everyone that is out there. Any questions or comments, you're welcome to send them through to wildearth.tv/questions, or you can scan the QR code there on your screens. My favourite part of the show, so if you are a regular commenter or not, please join the conversation on X using the hashtag WildEarth. If you have never sent us anything before, today is the day to do so. We will get through as many questions and comments as we can via WhatsApp as well on +27 786 302 336. I'm sure the last time I saw this chick, it was just about to start ripping up its own food. The last time I saw it, it couldn't even, the adult birds were still sort of picking off bits of food and giving it to the chick, but I'm pretty sure this young eagle is extremely competent in ripping things up now. Harriet Hodgins, happy Sunday to you too, Harriet. You're saying happy Sunday, Kelly. FC Wild Earth chatters from a very windy Cape Town. It's been really windy here as well the last sort of week or so. It's not so much today, but it's definitely the windy month here as well. Also windy across there in Cape Town. Joanne Mello, happy Sunday to you too, Joanne Mello. Thank you very much for being here. You're saying happy Sunday, Wild Earth and Kelly. Happy Sunday to you too, Joanne. Deb D, welcome to you too, Deb D. Thank you very much for being here. You are always welcome. As is anyone else that is joining us. Wow, I wish I could remember exactly what day it was that I last saw this chick. See, the last time I saw this chick, it was sitting like this. It was sitting sort of down, hunched. And suddenly it's a highly formidable predator by the looks of it. It was definitely having a peer over the edge then. Those dark feathers are very much starting to take over from the little white fluff that we've been seeing before. So this chick is probably going to fledge around about day 90. Maybe take that first maiden flight. Ooh, that's a... There's no getting it wrong. From that height, that's going to certainly be a leap of faith. Harriet Hodgins, you are agreeing with me that this chick has suddenly got very big. You're saying, wow, how quickly this chick has grown and developed. It has. It was slow for... Oh, that's graphic, but cool. And so interesting as well. Double P, you're asking, is it instinct that the chick knows not to walk off the edge of the nest? Yes, I would say so. It does sometimes happen. Young birds, that's how we find them falling out of nests, or they might fall, or one of their siblings might accidentally push them. But have we got... Wow. That was cool, seeing that entrance. But interesting, I say that, Double P, that chick instinctively knows to poop over the edge to keep everything clean and tidy. So yes, I'm going to say instinct will stop them from wobbling off there. Thankfully. I look like there's a bit of leftovers there. I did see that chick a minute ago sort of have a look at that. Is this unwanted leftovers? Is this... Oh, look, there's the other... Was that the other bird just past there? Oh, what a fabulous camera this is. Could have been maybe slightly angled ever so slightly higher. It looks like this might be... Are these birds feeding on this, or is this unwanted leftovers? Oh no, looks still usable. Kayleen Manthe, can the baby fly already? I'm not sure if we've been seeing sort of those wing flaps, but normally it's around about 90 days these eagles will fledge. So I'm going to say no. But you will see, they will start practicing it. They will start hopping, they will start flapping, they will start stretching those wings. But Kaylee, I would say this little one is going to have to be quite sure that it's going to work out. You can see how high this nest is perched up in these cliffs.
For years, we've shared virtual wildlife. Now, let's experience it for real. I'm Lauren Arthur, and I'd love to show you my amazing home here in the Greater Kruger of South Africa. This 5-night journey is an exclusive connection to my piece of untamed Africa. I live here in these gorgeous landscapes surrounded by epic wildlife. The wild is calling, so come and join me.
Oh, even a hyena coming into the action as well now. Oh my word! She's stalking the hyena now. Leopard, hyena, lion, all together in one shot. Oh! Whoa. This is action-packed.
My full name is Maxine Gaines. Most people that know me really well call me Max. I'm a mum. I have 2 boys. One is 16 years old and one is 14 years old. I'm a very proud mama of my 2 boys. I've just always been passionate about leopards. I'm passionate about their conservation. I'm just passionate about everything to do with leopards. I love them.
That's how they survive. So they need to get to that stage quickly, or they're not gonna. They need to be able to grow quickly to become effective and efficient. They need to fly. That's their MO, and they have to get there pretty quickly. So hatched around mid-June. Let's maybe place this chick around 7 weeks. Catherine, you're saying, wow, what a beautiful view. Susan, thank you very much for checking in. You think it was the 26th of July we last saw this chick. That's like 26. That's like a week ago. This chick has changed so much in the last week. It is indeed a very beautiful view. And thank you very much, EJ. It's good to be here. Thank you for joining us and spending some time with us this Sunday. Super cool to see this chick strong and healthy, and we must watch it. It's not going to be around for too much longer. Let's go across to El Doño. I think maybe we might have some elephants up there. Let's have a look-see. It's not often we catch the El Doño waterhole up in Kenya. Elephant free, but you watch, there'll be absolutely nothing there now. Let's go and have a look. There we go, those are boys. Stephen Bennett, you're asking what prey does the adult black eagle hunt? Black eagle or Faroe's eagle? They eat a lot of dussies. They're known for eating dussies. They're often found in sort of cliffy, rocky areas, which is often where dussies hang out. They'll hunt sometimes from a perch. They've been known to scavenge. They've also been known to hunt in pairs sometimes. But they feed on lots of dussies, any mammals, anything they can. Many of these eagles are quite adaptable. They have to be to survive. But they have been known to hunt in pairs. They'll also maybe sometimes take monkeys. There is records of them eating a baboon. Birds, they are pretty adaptable, but they will hunt big birds, all the way up to sort of bustards, Egyptian geese. I think they've also been recorded. Catching a dove in flight before. They're exceptional predators. Stunning birds. Those Faroe's eagles. Ivan, you're asking, will an animal species ever mimic another species? Yes. My brain immediately goes to butterflies or insects or the insect world. Mimicking non-toxic species will sometimes look quite like toxic species. The one that always springs to mind is the African monarch's butterfly is mimicked by, I think it's a diadem. They look very, very similar. I'm trying to think what else might do it. There is the theory that Cheetah cubs have that wash of white on their back to mimic honey badgers. What else? Fish, some of the anglerfish type things will sometimes have a little dangly thing on the front of their head to mimic a worm or something. So when a smaller fish comes to eat the worm, the anglerfish will catch the other fish. So yes, they're the ones that spring to mind, Ivan. But I'm sure there's lots more. Oh, is that elephant saying no, a hard no to the giraffe today, by the looks of it? Or is there... What's happening here? Is that one ton? Mahuti, you make my day very happy. Beautiful views. I'm delighted. It's making your day very happy. It really is an absolute pleasure being able to watch all these animals completely undisturbed from all of these cameras we have around. I don't think that is, but that is a... I've only seen old one ton a couple of times. That is definitely, whoever it is a... No, that's not. But this is another fine looking tusker who's just come in. And also peaceful and calm. No, I'm looking at a picture of one ton now. He's got much more... I know he's got mismatched tusks. This big boy that's just walked in, also his tusks are quite uneven. But definitely not the famous one. See, how many tons of elephant do we have here? Let's guess. Good 20 tons of elephant, completely peaceful. Constantly communicating, either maybe with sounds we can't hear, or posture, or behaviour. And look how all the elephants on the left have sort of turned to face that big boy that came in. Before I forget, I had some homework from my last session, and I suppose we could kind of use these giraffes to talk about it, but I want to mention it before I forget, because I will forget. Someone asked, does it hurt when antelope's horns come through? And I said, logically, I sort of rationalised it to sort of teething or something. But I said I wanted to go away and do a bit more research about it. I was sort of right. I think it turns out that it's actually less uncomfortable than I personally would have imagined. The horns of antelopes come from horn buds, so they're not those horn buds under the skin. They're not visible. They start as sort of little bumps. They're part of the skull, and they sort of move up as the animal gets older. Probably the most uncomfortable part is the horn buds would come up through the skin, and it stretch the skin until the tips of the horns sort of pop through the skin. Similar to teething would be, but it's very low, it's very slow, it's not sort of a burst of pain.
This unfolds in front of you. At Wild Earth, we believe every story has the power to create change. That's why we've launched the Wild Earth Impact Foundation, a non-profit dedicated to conservation and social impact. By showcasing conservation stories, we can change lives, protect nature, and empower communities. We have partnered with Empowers Africa to accept tax-deductible donations from US donors. Your donation will help fund critical programs that support our mission. Join us and be part of the change.
My full name is Maxine Gaines. Best part of the job, gosh, I just love everything about guiding. I love being able to observe animal behavior and animals behaving naturally. So for me, that's by far the best part of the job. And so what we do here at Wild Earth is develop those connections with the people that are viewing and maybe just light a little spark that says, you know what, I want to be involved in protecting this ecosystem.
Chidzana na tsima ra ntumbuluko Dlovukazi ya xitsundzuxo hosi ya rhumela.
How cool is this?
Endangered Species Centre, or HESC. Might be some action across there. I also want to see, in comparison to that fast growing chick, how quickly these cubs are growing. These cheetahs, they're almost losing. I said just now about animals mimicking other animals and they get this wash. They've still got a bit of white fluff up there, but even that wash along their backs now is leaving. And I'm fairly sure these cubs were born on the 30th of April. So these cubs are about 3 months now. Looking like proper little cheetahs. Showing lots of independence, of exploring. They're not with mum all the time anymore. Also seeing those typical cheetah poses from these cubbies, that typical flopped down, head up when they're resting. Catherine, yes, these little cubbies are growing so quickly. I was still completely stunned by that Varro's eagle at the start of the show. Speechless. Isn't nature amazing? But yeah, these little guys are also growing up. We're not going to know till they're, I think, we're not going to know if they're males or females till they're about 6 months old, at which point I think they're going to have DNA checks done. Their sex will be determined. I'm sure they're a real handful for mum now. I remember I had a sighting many years ago. It was actually a lioness with cubs, probably a little bit younger than this. I think they were probably closer to 8 weeks. They were very small, and they were settled under a bush or something. and they were supposed to be all staying still. And she was struggling to keep these cubs. One of them would waddle off, and she'd get up and grab it by the head and bring it back to under the bush. And then while she was walking back, the next one would leave, and she'd grab that one. And it looked like a never-ending cycle of trying to keep all these cubs in one place and in view. See that little cub at the front, that gap through the tree there, that very typical cheetah. Body down, head up. I wonder if cheetahs, and I don't know the answer to this, but that can be my own homework. I wonder if cheetahs have got some sort of physiology that helps them with this laying down, head up posture. You do see other cats doing it, but they tend to be they're less flat. They more sort of, it feels to me like they lay on their bellies rather than quite so much on their sides when they have their head up. Because it never looks like a supernatural posture to me, having such a flat body with their heads so high, and they do it to keep an eye out for predators. Cheetah are very, very vulnerable to competition. They're very small, big cats. Unless they're in a coalition with males, they tend to be alone, so they can't rely on pride members like lions do. And they rely on speed for survival, and just a slight leg injury or a chomp on a leg or something, it can be their demise. So they have to be very, very aware. I've heard of a jackal chasing a cheetah off a kill before, and it would only take a nip from a jackal on a foot or something like that, and they wouldn't be able to hunt. So they have to be very aware, and I just wonder if there's not some physiology in there that's slightly different compared to some of the other cats that helps with that very upright head while the rest of them's very flat posture. I'm sure these cubbies are starting to develop very clear personalities now. I'm sure there's always been one off exploring, and I've actually noticed, this is purely my own observation, it's sometimes, I've watched a few leopards grow up, and it's often female cubs that tend to get themselves into trouble. Males are homeboys when they're very little. That's a huge sweeping statement, that's not scientific at all. All of these cats spend lots of time grooming. I'm sure mum's been helping them up until now, but most cats fastidious about their personal hygiene, spend lots of time licking and grooming those tongues, very rough tongues. Someone once told me that a lion's tongue could take the skin off your arm. I'm not entirely sure how true that is, but I do know they're very, very rough. G. Dupquin. Those babies are so precious. They are very, very precious in every sense of the word. Precious in the, oh my goodness, they're so cute, but also very precious in the conservation sense. Cheetah conservation has been doing excellent work with diversity and numbers and awareness. So they are indeed very, very precious. Deb D, first, you've seen those cheetah cubs in a while. I almost quite like not visiting for a little while though, because you can really see the growth differences. very nice to see these little guys happy and healthy and well in the sunshine. Let's go over to Rosie's pan. See what visitors we have here, but lovely to see these little cheetahs growing big and strong. We have an elephant playing with water again. See that? See, there's no good doing that now. You've squirted it all out. It just looks like play to me. I had a long conversation with someone about this this behaviour not long ago, and my theory was that they taste something weird in the water, or as it gets to their mouth, they maybe there was some silt in there or something, and their theory was it means nothing to them. They're just like fiddling about with it. And I'm starting to come around to the second option, but I find it animals do play, very much so, including adult animals, just not quite as often as young animals, and it is often learning, but sometimes it's just play. So yes, baby cheetahs will stalk and pounce and things to practice. But there is just a joy in it as well, in my opinion. Like if this elephant's playing with this water, there is zero. There's zero learning capability in this activity. If this elephant is just sucking up water and squirting it out for fun, there is nothing to be learned. That's play. That's just messing about with it. That is not even that, and that elephant, I don't think it even put it in its. Maybe there's something in their trunks, but I think it's just play. And there's no. This elephant is not practicing sucking up water and spitting it out for when it's older. It does not need to practice that. So that almost demonstrates as well that not all play is linked to practicing development for when they're older. We see animals, young males will be pushing and shoving, and we always say, oh, they're practicing for when they're older. There is an element of that, but also there is just play for play's sake, in my opinion. This elephant does not need to practice sucking up water and spraying it everywhere. And I like that fact a lot, because it almost proves animal emotionality. If anyone was ever in any doubt that animals didn't have emotions. G. Dupquin. I'm really glad I pronounced your name right. I will continue to try and do so. There are some names on here that I do struggle with, but I normally try and give them a go. So I'm glad I got your name right. I will continue to try and do so with everyone that sends everything in. And we do try and get through as many messages as we can during the show. And I love hearing, where you all are, what you're all doing, and your thoughts on animal emotion and play, and why is this elephant squirting this water everywhere. But this has actually been a really nice demonstration. This is play. To me, anyway. There's no other logical explanation to me. Send your thoughts into wildearth.tv/questions. Anyone who's got any thoughts on what this is, if this is not play behaviour we're seeing, then send your thoughts through on WhatsApp on +27 786 302 336. G'd up, Quinn. You love watching them enjoy water. This is what it looks like to me. There's no other animals there. He's not doing it as a show of strength or water squirting ability. He's there all on his own. He looks pretty relaxed. The only thing that confuses me a bit is water is a resource, especially this time of year. And I suppose the animals know that this pan's here. They come to it often. Animals learn. Historically, this pan hasn't disappeared, so that probably gives this water a little bit less value, maybe. I'm sure if they were in the middle of a desert and they found a tiny little puddle and that's all the water they had, they probably wouldn't be squirting it around so liberally. Quinn, maybe it's some sort of self-soothing behaviour. Possibly, Quinn. I completely agree that animals do demonstrate self-soothing behaviour. It's like the person I was chatting to the other day, it's like twiddling your thumbs or wiggling your leg. I know dogs do a thing called cobbing, like they nibble things with their front teeth, like nibble, nibble, nibble on blankets and things like that. And it's self-soothing behaviour.
My name is Amy, and today we're going to be doing things a little bit differently.
What does it take to handle the wild? Balance. Determination. Focus.
Yaku!
And gear that can take a beating so you don't have to.
Would you like to know what an elephant's favourite food is? You could ask me questions like that in real time. Our safaris are live and interactive from the heart of Africa. Over here. Watch Safari Live and connect with nature.
Step into the heart of Africa from the comfort of your home.
Female leopard tracks over here.
Join our expert guides for a live 3-hour safari where every moment is real, unscripted, and unforgettable. Ask questions.
Animals rely on their senses.
Share your thoughts and be part of the experience as we explore together. Safari Live. Are you ready for the adventure of a lifetime? Wild Earth Travel's newsletter is your passport to a magical journey. Explore exclusive travel options featuring special offers at stunning Wild Earth locations and all hosted by your favorite presenters. Don't miss out. Head over to our website and subscribe to the Wild Earth Travel newsletter today and stay in the know on all our unforgettable adventures. Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
I'm not going to lie to you. I have just had a little check here because I've never had that thought in my head that animals look at themselves in water. And it seems they do, but some species, like great apes, dolphins, elephants and magpies, have been shown to recognise themselves in mirrors during scientific tests. That's mad. But yeah, maybe they're looking at their own reflection a bit when they do this. Maybe they're enjoying seeing their reflection and then breaking it or something. Melanistic Marble, you're saying you love this pan and you definitely think bull elephants find entertainment for themselves. I agree. And you see things like, I've watched elephants many times, they'll pick up sticks and fling sticks around and throw sticks and branches on their heads. I've seen elephants wearing branch hats many times. George, you also think yes. You also think they're playing. You've been on a few safaris and have seen this behaviour before. That's a really interesting thought. The cat father. You're asking, do they need to clean their trunks from the inside, like humans do with a stuffy nose, for example? Probably, actually. I mean, it's a big tube in a really dusty environment, and believe me, this bushveld dust gets absolutely everywhere. You can have all the doors and windows closed, and you still find layers of dust all over everything. So that might also be playing a part, the cat father. That's a really good observation. Giving it a bit of a rinse there. Mr. Elemental, you don't think he's happy with the water quality? That was my original thought, because animals normally do things that benefit them. But this elephant here has just been picking it up and not even putting it in his mouth, but maybe they get an idea of the quality from their trunk. I just find it so interesting. Wildlife lady, elephant's just chilling and playing at the water hole, having his me time. This does actually look like a really content elephant, doesn't it? And check that tail's quite still. It's gently sort of swaying a bit, that ear flap. Just gentle. The legs are soft, the body's soft, the trunk is relaxed, head low. He almost looks like he's... He almost looks sort of contemplative to me. But yeah, I think this boy is having a little bit of Sunday afternoon me time. I have got a dark cap bulbul at my bird bath making lots of noise. I apologise. Let's go over to the hide, see who we've got there, and leave this boy to continue to enjoy his meditative Sunday reflection water play by the looks of it. Oh, this is a beautiful kudu bull. And a young one as well. That bauble has left the area now. Apologies for that racket. Oh, I'm desperate to anthropomorphise and say, oh, look at this little family, but that's not really how kudu society often works. Those ears on that little one look comical. So these kudu, they're typically known as browsers, which are sort of leaves, trees, little shrubs and stuff, but these kudu are feeding on whatever they can find at the moment. I've got no idea what they're finding in that mud. I'm just looking at this again now. What are they eating? I'm almost are they eating vegetative stuff? Or they're not using that soil, are they?
I met this remarkable rhino bull, whose name is Samson, last year in a place of extraordinary beauty, history and story. I'm going back there to see him in October, and I think you should come with me to his mysterious mountain fastness.
The Wild Earth Impact Foundation is a non-profit that uses the power of wildlife storytelling as a force for good. We create sustainable development projects that showcase conservation stories, empower people, and inspire environmental action. As a registered South African PBO, you can make a tax-deductible donation to the Wild Earth Impact Foundation. To find out more, visit our website.
They get to the water, and there's a stick. I've put like a log, and he stands right on the top of it and shouts and shouts and shouts. So I'm glad you enjoyed all of the nature sounds going on today. There's a lot of bird passengers there. Double P. You are asking, how do you tell greater from lesser kudu? That's a good question. I've never seen a lesser kudu. I'd actually completely forgotten that lesser kudu existed until someone pointed it out to me recently here. The most, at a glance, it might be a bit difficult, as is often the way. One of the easiest ways to tell them apart is size, but I know I always find it very difficult to tell things apart, especially brown eagles, in size, because unless you see them stood next to each other, it's not very useful. But greater kudu can get much bigger. They can get to almost twice the size of a lesser kudu. The greater kudu, I think the greater kudu have got their horns don't spiral as hard, and they're bigger. And the lesser kudu's horns, they don't get quite as long, and they spiral harder. And I think it's the lesser kudu is slightly redder. So there's a few ways, but I would normally do it on where something was. So the greater kudu is southern East Africa woodlands, and then the lesser kudu is more dry bushland, and the scrub only in East Africa. But I've never seen I've never seen a lesser kudu, and I'd completely forgotten about them. Johnny Fever, you are asking, do kudu shed their horns annually like deer? They do not. Europe, the Americas, the deer there shed their horns every year, which always amazes me, because some of these deer, they have huge antlers, and to lose them every year, it just, I'm sure nature knows what it's doing, but it seems like a lot of energy and effort to me. I'm sure there's a very good reason, but I can't currently tell you what it is. No, they do not. If you see a kudu or an antelope in Africa with one horn or a broken horn, then they will not be replacing them, unlike the deer across other parts of the world. Lovely to see these lovely big boys and also youngsters out in the open here. We often see kudus in thickets. They prefer thicket areas a lot of the time. But lovely to see these kudu nicely out in the open. Let's go across to Camelthorn. We see all sorts going on at Camelthorn. Let's see what our hippos have been up to. Huge numbers of hippos that we see often there. Trudy, you're asking, will red-billed and yellow-billed oxpeckers feed from kudu? Yes. Yellow-billed oxpeckers, possibly not so often, but yellow-billed oxpeckers, they will. I've seen most yellow-billed oxpeckers on buffalo. They will feed on giraffe. I think they probably would if there was no other mammals around, but it's not their first choice. But red-billed oxpeckers, yes, often, and that's probably what was sitting on that kudu's back just there. Oh, Deb, this bulbul's back again. Rian Cortez, kudu is your favourite antelope, so elegant. I think lots of people enjoy a kudu. They are very regal. Often, but I often see them as quite sort of almost mystical. They're very often in thickets. Their nickname colloquially can be the grey ghosts of the bush. They can just melt into nothing. There's and often I've found with kudu. Oh, let's go and look at that dark giraffe at Jabulani. That would be lovely. I would love to see a dark giraffe at Jabulani. But yeah, grey ghosts, the kudu. They melt in and out of the thickets. Oh, it's got quite dark markings there. I've got no idea if that's a male or female, but if I was forced to guess, we see dark males more often than females, but we do see very dark females sometimes. I distinctly remember the conversation again. I was with guests and I said exactly that. I said, oh, lots of... This bird is quite distracting. Deb D, I hope you're enjoying this bird because I'm finding him quite distracting. I drove around a corner and there was a dark male and I said, oh, we often see these very dark males. And then I drove around the next corner and there was a dark female. I was like, oh, right, okay, ignore me. But those dark colorations, they can get darker with age. It can be genetics. Sometimes locality can have an impact on those shades. It's darker is slightly less common than not darker. We've also got a black-headed oriole calling now in the background, getting a birding session while we're here. Aging, genetics, regional coloration, but not super uncommon to see these darker giraffes sometimes. George, excellent question. What happens if they lose their horns during a fight, for example? Then they deal with it. To be honest, George, I've seen quite a few male impalas with just one horn, snapped quite close to the bottom. It probably, I don't know if there's been research done on it or how you would even research it, but I'm not sure. I think it would probably impact their desirability with the opposite sex. It might reduce status, so they wouldn't be regarded or held in such high regard with other males of the same species, because they're not as able to use those horns in battles. But yeah, they spend the rest of their days with one horn. Oh, this giraffe has got very dark markings. We've actually got a very, very darker than this in the estate I'm in. But not super unusual, but I personally think it's fit genetics, mostly genetics, the same as anything would be lighter or darker in colour, like our hair is, red or brown. That's my personal view. And it's not very often you see very young giraffes with that coloration, so that's where that colour might develop a little bit more with age. Deb D, you're saying your favourite antelope is the sable. They are super impressive, those sable. They almost look mythical. They look... they almost look made up to me, those sable, like they're drawn out of a mythology book or something like that. Eskia, what seems to trouble this bird? Eskia, there is nothing troubling this bird. I've got used to them shouting like that now, and they get very excited when they come for a drink at the bird bath. And I'm not sure if it's excitement or maybe it's a territorial thing. These two bulbul often sit on a stick and shout quite loudly. So maybe it's a territorial thing. Maybe they're saying, this is my bird bath for now, no one else is allowed. But yeah, sorry for the disturbance. Trudy, can the sun affect the darkness of any animal's spots? I'm thinking, Trudy. Like Trudy, my gut is saying yes, because human hair can change colour in the sun. So possibly. Let's go across to Aldonio. I'm going to think about that some more, Trudy. Oh, that was a monitor on that tree. Well caught, whoever caught that one. I'm still thinking, Trudy. Trudy, what do you think? Let's throw it open to the floor. Like, logic would say yes, but then the other part of my brain is saying, but if it could affect one animal, it would affect all animals, and then all the animals would be a different colour. Because I can't imagine that a darker giraffe happens to have spent more time in the sun. I don't know. Like, my brain wants to say yes, but my logic is saying, but then everything would all be a different colour in the sun, because it's hot. If you're a giraffe, you've spent a lot of time in hot sun. I don't care who you are. Any giraffe, certainly up in this area, has been exposed to a lot of sun. I'm going to take that as homework, Trudy, if that's all right. Can sun change fur colour? I do know another theory behind the giraffe darkness is regional, and there is a theory that it is related to temperatures. I've also heard somewhere that there's, I think it was a bird, I can't remember which bird it was, but I'm sure I recall someone saying they're darker in a different region. But to me, it's more a regional colour variation than a sun adaptation. Leave it with me, Trudy. Oh, is this little elephant that always stands in the middle? Harriet Hodgins, maybe we should set up a camera at the bird bath and we can have live at Kelly's bird bath. I've got a camera at my bird bath, Harriet Hodgins. There's not, well, we get quiet. We see Janet's. I had a family of banded mongoose come yesterday. I don't know, I just get really excited about when things visit the bird bath. And it's one of the things I enjoy about these cameras. It's animals coming to us. It's animals choosing to come. And we've started to see some aardvark activity in this estate. Someone managed to get a picture of an aardvark at 9 o'clock the other night, which is not your normal 2-3 o'clock in the mornings that most people miss. So if I get an aardvark, I will work out a way of getting those images through to FC and trying to get them up live, because I will be deeply proud and excited if that does happen. See, this giraffe is getting a look in today. This elephant that stood in the middle here, his tusks are quite turned inwards. If you look at him from the front, it almost looks like if they keep growing, they're gonna like bump each other. Oh, that's wonky tusk at the back there. I didn't notice that tusk. I recognised him from that huge rip in his ear. And I still haven't decided what the cause of this wonky tusk was. And the more time I've spent thinking about it, the more I think it might have been an injury. Or a
My name is Amy, and today we're going to be doing things a little bit differently.
Do you want to know why impala are the most common antelope we find here in the Kruger National Park? You can ask me questions like this in real time. Our safaris are live and interactive here in the heart of Africa. Join me on Safari Live. Connect with nature.
Even animals do have coloration for temperature regulation. That's not easy to say. But is it caused by the sun? I don't know. I've known horses that when they change from summer coats to winter coats. Actually, my horse that I used to have many years ago, in the summer he was a stunning Palomino. And in the summer he was gold. He was like a Barbie horse in the summer, like shiny gold coat. And then in the winter he was much paler. He was more a creamy colour in the winter in his winter coat. I wonder why that is. That wasn't for camouflage. Why did those hairs come through a different colour? Oh, there's just more questions. Just produces more questions than answers. And how wonderful. I think that's a lovely idea. Let's go back to Jabalani. I would love to have a look at that monitor across there. We've just caught him in the tree. Thank you. Well done, Zumi, or whoever it was that caught that water monitor. Wow, look at that. That's super cool. I revisited a discussion around monitor lizards a while ago, and I reverted back to the information I found out, and I'm going to find it right now. And I am going to call this a Varanus niloticus is what I'm going to call this, because there is frequently confusion around naming of monitor lizards, so I'm going to call it a scientific name, which is Varanus niloticus. But this Varanus niloticus is having a blast up here, sunbathing. Just goes to show we often see okay, apparently this guy's been on this tree for about a week. That almost surprises me, because it's been really cold up here at night. And I would have thought, has anyone seen him move? Let's all see if we can see this monitor lizard move. It's been really quite cold, and I would have thought that would be quite a cold spot on a tree in the middle of water. And if I was cold-blooded, which some people suggest I may be, I would be snuggled down somewhere. Oh, he is moving. I would be snuggled down in the undergrowth or something. It must be quite chilly up here. Voracious egg hunters, these guys. We often see weavers or birds making nests in dead trees in the middle of water as an attempt at a defense mechanism. But very clear evidence that monitor lizards are completely capable of making their ways to dead trees in the middle of water. So, but still a deterrent. Just to clarify that the discussion that went on around the naming of monitor lizards, I actually ended up contacting renowned herpetologist to find out some correct naming, and because there was some confusion around common waters monitors and Nile monitors and things, and there are two types of this monitor. One is a Varanus niloticus, which is a Nile brackets water monitor, or a Varanus salvator, which is a common water monitor. And there are no common water monitors found in South Africa, which is the Varanus salvator. I would have to go back and check again if we're in a different country. But this is a Varanus niloticus. I have it on excellent authority. Oh, Fran, yeah, brilliant question. Is naming universal or area specific? Herein lies the problem, Fran. I'm going to hold my hands up and say I am not brilliant with scientific names, but really we should all be using scientific names for everything all the time, from insects to trees to kudus and everything in between, because it's common names that can cause confusion, and a common name is, to me, an area-specific name. So it depends on the species or subspecies of something, which someone very kindly pointed out during the show the other day, is the full-on clarification of subspecies differentiation is done on chromosomes. So very, very clever science people decide on subspecies division and such like, but it can get very confusing, Fran. Look at the colours on this monitor here. Have we definitely seen him move?
Would you like to know at what age a buffalo calf gets its horns? These are questions that you can ask me in real time. Our safaris are live and interactive here in the heart of Africa. Join me on Safari Live and connect with nature.
Welcome to Safari Spotlight. We'll be
And you pretend like you're a salesman, eh?
Got no idea what's going on this reserve.
Expecting the unexpected.
Are we stuck down there?
What am I trying to do?
So we have another giant of Mabula.
That was incredible.
This is unbelievable.
It's going to be a spectacular afternoon.
Out here, every wild moment counts, and as a Wild Earth explorer, you won't miss a thing.
Incredible.
Watch the Wild Earth channel ad-free 24/7 and rewind if you want to catch something again. Enjoy behind-the-scenes videos, fireside chats, and early access to travel offers. The best way to stay connected and be part of the Wild Earth family.
And are mildly toxic or mildly venomous. Certainly rock monitors, that's another story for another day, because I've been bitten by one. And said expert in such matters confirmed this. And I'm actually, seeing as I'm 2015, I was bitten by a monitor. And I'm just actually reading the contact I made with this person to let them know about this bite. Yeah, 2015. Oh, wow, over 10 years ago. And I have a picture of the monitor lizard that bit me and was indeed venomous. We saw lots of elephants ducking under the water in here the other day. And I was saying, I think Thorny Bush is probably more so than any other area I've worked in before, seen so many swimming stroke submerging elephants. We've seen buffalo here a few times recently as well, under those tamborti trees. I think they're tamborti trees anyway. Susan, I'm glad it gives you food for thought. It gives me food for thought as well, Susan. Yeah, as I've said before, how boring would it be if I sat here for 2 hours and just told you stuff? It's a team effort, pondering these things as to what may or may not be. It's almost sad that everyone can find out anything, anytime, anywhere now using technological methods. I still enjoy books, or if I do go away and do homework, I'd rather try for peer-reviewed papers and research, because I never know who or what to believe anymore. This renowned herpetologist who was like this book? Yeah, also a co-author of this reptile book that I used during this show. I've just sent a picture of this monitor lizard that bit me through to FC to show them said monitor, and they do not know my venomous monitor lizard story, so I shall tell it. It was a rock monitor. It was on the grass in the staff area, and we'd just finished work, and I went to go home, and this monitor was on the grass. We did stay quite close to a rocky area, so it makes sense. And a couple of the staff there had dogs, so I didn't want this monitor to get hurt or injured. So I'd actually tried to squish it away with a radio, and it went to smack me with its tail, as they do. And I just wanted it wouldn't move, so I picked it up, which we're not supposed to do, but I was just trying to keep this monitor safe, and it bit me just on my thumb. I can't remember which hand it was. It bit me on one of my thumbs, and I was like, oh, it bit me, but it wasn't particularly painful. It was sort of like little needly pricks. There wasn't much blood or anything like that. And I moved this monitor to safety and carried on with my life. And I actually sat in the sun by the pool for about half an hour. And I was laying down, but I was laying on concrete, and I started feeling a bit stiff, and I thought, oh, I must be getting old. So I got up and I was going to see a friend, and I got changed and drove around the corner to see a friend of mine. And after about 20 minutes, I said, I feel really weird. I said, I feel sort of like I'm coming down with a cold, or I feel like my glands feel swollen, and my skin around my jaw felt very sensitive, like my jawline. I said, oh no, I think I'm getting sick. I said, I think I'm going to go. So I went back. It was like a 15-minute drive. I went back and I just felt like stiff and like just a bit weird. And I messaged one of the boys. I said, I feel a bit weird. I said, I'm going to go to bed early, but if you don't see me in the morning, then come and find me, because I feel odd, but I don't know why. And I was expecting to wake up in the morning sort of with a cold or sick or something, and I was fine. And I thought, oh, that was weird. And I spent, as I do, exactly as I ponder when I'm live here, I thought to myself, I thought that was very weird. Like my muscles have been aching, like I'd trained too long at the gym, and my skin had been sore, but I felt absolutely fine the next day. And I went back and thought, what did I eat? What did I do? And after pulling my previous day apart, the only thing I could come up with that was different was this monitor bite. And I chatted to a few people, and a few people went, I don't know. Some people saying, oh no, those Komodo dragons have got bacteria, maybe. And then I started freaking out, thinking, oh no, am I going to have some sort of adverse effect to bacteria? So I ended up contacting, his name's Johan Murray. He's a renowned herpetologist. And I explained to him, and he said, that's really exciting. He said, they're venomous. And that monitor envenomated you. And there was some research going on at some university in Australia about it. He said, please send me through your weight and your height and your age and stuff and time frames. And he confirmed that, yeah, they are indeed venomous. So that was pretty cool. That is the story of my rock monitor bite. I couldn't remember actually if it was a rock monitor or a water monitor, but I've found the photo now and it's a rock monitor. Mr. Elemental. Let's go to Lentora for some monkeys, and I will address you, Mr. Elemental, with something that I actually completely agree with and support your observation. We've got a monkey tail. Where's this monkey tail? Mr. Elemental, you are surprised when you first started watching Wild Earth how often the animals poop. You never see that on the documentaries. You do not. Because people sometimes feel uncomfortable about watching animals poop, and documentary makers probably don't want to make viewers feel uncomfortable. I have lost count of the amount of sightings I've been in, and an animal has pooped, and everyone's sort of gone, oh, like, and just you can just sort of generally tell they feel a bit uncomfortable in the situation. But everything poops, and you watch a large herbivore with a fairly poor digestive system for long enough, and they're going to poop, as are monkeys, as are everything else. But yeah, that's the reason, I think, Mr. Elemental, because I've watched guests feel quite uncomfortable by watching pooping animals. It's like when we opened with that black eagle, Varose, I never know what to call it. It's called the black eagle nest, but they're technically called Varose eagles. The eagle, and that eagle pooped, and you don't really know what to say. It pooped. I thought it was fascinating that those chicks instinctively know to poop over the side. I think this monkey's there's things starting to grow here. It is only August, but things are starting to sprout, and this monkey might be eating flowers up here. Maybe I don't know what that tree is. But that's often what they do if they're eating little buds or little shoots or little flowers. Delicious sweet blossom.
My name is Amy, and today we're going to be doing things a little bit differently.
Even a hyena coming into the action as well now. Oh my word! She's stalking the hyena now. Leopard, hyena, lion, all together in one shot. Oh. Woo. This is action-packed.
Would you like to know the difference between a male and a female wildebeest? You can ask me questions like this in real time. Our safaris are live and interactive here in the heart of Africa. Join me on Safari Live and connect with nature.
Spines and thorns are slightly different anatomical things on a tree, but I can't remember which way round it is. One is modified leaves and the other one is modified something else. They do have not much, but a very, very small amount of nutrition in, but not much, and they're not very delicious either. Gerard Mello, your buddies, you like them. I also really enjoy watching monkeys. It's another tactic that, it's not really a tactic. They don't all get together and so let's use this tactic. Lots of things flower and same with baby impalas. If there's lots of baby impalas, your baby impala is less likely to get eaten than if there's lots of baby impalas compared to if there's just one. Lots of things will sprout and flower at the same time and everything can't eat all the stuff. Although this tree is is getting fairly heavily utilised, let's say. These blossoms or buds or whatever it is that these monkeys are feasting on have not had a good Sunday and are not having a good Sunday. But let's go across to Tau. We have another chilling elephant here, and I can also hear those white-faced whistling ducks in the background. I wonder if this boy, the end of that trunk is a bit wet there. I wonder if he's also been doing some Sunday afternoon meditation involving spraying water around. They're lovely reflections in that nice still water today. It's all been quite peaceful today, I think. A nice peaceful Sunday. See, I'm struggling to get a scale on this elephant, like how tall he is. But this to me looks like a big, mature adult bull just because of the size of his gist, like we were talking about the other day. General impressions of shape and size. He's just bulky, he's full. Diane in Cape Town. Let's hop across to the hide before we talk about Diane from Cape Town. I think we might have a hippo across there. I did not read the story about a lady getting bitten by a mongoose. Look at this oakie out of the water. This is mortal, unless I'm much mistaken. Across there at the hide in Zimbabwe. This is indeed mortal. Is he going to chase the ducks, chase the geese? Yeah, looks like it. I didn't read about that story, Diane. I'm definitely going to have a look though. I'm almost. But you see, Diane, then what happens is if I read stories, I then have to, before I talk about them, go and like investigate and see how true they are. Otherwise, if I say that this happened, people say no, that's not real. So I'm going to put that as mongoose bite homework. I will definitely go and have a look. You've got me intrigued now, Diane. Yeah, this is a hippo with attitude. You are asking Marianne H. Kelly, which one of monkeys or baboons can humans copy to what to eat in the wild? I can also never remember that, but I have concluded over the years that I don't think I'd copy either of them. I think we might be more similar to monkeys, but yeah, I don't think I'd copy. I don't think I'd copy exactly what. There might be some similarities, but I probably wouldn't take a chance because I've seen both of those things eating things that I wouldn't really want to eat. So I would probably give it a skip, to be perfectly honest. But I know exactly what you mean, that phrase that we can eat what one eat and not the other. I've never remembered it either. But yeah, I've concluded over the years that I'm not going to be copying either of them. Mayesh essay, we have been having some beautiful reflections today here, both at Tau, also those lovely elephants across at Rose's Pan, that boy doing his Sunday meditation. Animal lover. Sensitive question. I'm going to read it out and then probably throw it back to the room. Animal lover, you are asking, what do I think of the recent news that SA is injecting rhino horns with radioactive material? I would suggest everyone goes away and does some reading about it. I have done reading about it before. I haven't seen anything recently. I'm not sure what the recent updates are. There has been so many theories and things publicised over the years of various things that places or people are doing. I'm always very reticent to comment publicly on any of it until I know whether or not it's true and have full amounts of information on it. How's that for a get out clause, animal lover? But anyone that is listening, go do some digging, go do some reading, find out. I haven't heard anything like unusual recently, but I'll definitely go away and look. But I think it's a huge topic, that can be that I'm not going to talk about anymore, if I'm completely honest, animal lover. What a cop-out, hey? But yeah, it's definitely something to go and do some reading around if you're interested in that sort of thing. Erica Oldno, you've watched this hippo drink from the fresh pool at night, not the water he sits in. First time seen doing this like an elephant. I've also seen this hippo drink water from that fresh pool at night, not the water he sits in. And I actually saw some elephants back down to him recently, which I don't know if I've ever seen before. This hippo is known, and he has a somewhat, let's call him feisty. Should we call him a feisty hippo? Mind you, I think all hippos are feisty. Let's head across to Nkoro. Mr. Motomoto is taking his Sunday dip, so let's see if we can catch up with any of the regulars across there at Nkoro. This giraffe is definitely giving some hard consideration to having a drink by the looks of it. David Atwood. Hi David Atwood. Thank you very much for joining the party today. You are very welcome. Have I experienced a safari where the little Ellies do a little mock charge towards the vehicles because they are very funny? I have, many times, David Atwood. They are very cute and it's very funny. However, and I've seen it. I've seen little Ellies do a mock charge, and what regularly happens is they mock charge, and then they get a bit scared, and then they do their little. And then they panic, and then they turn around, and then they go running away again sometimes. But mother elephants don't always take kindly to their little elephants being frightened. So I am not normally watching the little elephant. I'm very often watching mum to make sure mum isn't getting upset that her little one is frightening itself by coming too close to the car. But yes, I have seen that many times. I've actually got a couple of lovely pictures of that's happening with my tracker. Noel, if you're listening, hi. Unlikely. But yes, I've got some lovely pictures of that with the small elephants. Oh, is this hippo going to chase the geese as well now? With small elephants very close to my tracker. But yeah, my concern is always that if they suddenly panic and get a fright, then mum's going to get upset with the whole situation.
Now this leopard that we're looking at is known by the name of Hlalamba.
At Wild Earth, we believe every story has the power to create change. That's why we've launched the Wild Earth Impact Foundation, a non-profit dedicated to conservation and social impact. By showcasing conservation stories, we can change lives, protect nature, and empower communities. We have partnered with Empowers Africa to accept tax-deductible donations from US donors. Your donation will help fund critical programs that support our mission. Join us and be part of the change.
Hyenas love bathing.
Every month, something wild lands in your inbox. From rare sightings and behind-the-scenes secrets to expert stories, seasonal changes, and exclusive travel opportunities, the Wild Earth Journal is your free monthly mailer, packed with the magic of the wild straight from the field. It's fun, it's free, it's full of surprises. Sign up now on the Wild Earth website.
Think that those geese would follow hippos. Huh. Well, I never. Makes sense though, if there is indeed any vegetation. I can't imagine there's much vegetation left under in there. I thought it'd be mostly mud, but I guess there might be. Maybe some aquatic plant seed that has sunk or something, but I've never seen that before. And I also didn't know that he was called Hank. Thanks very much, Mr. HUAE 87. Very peaceful Sunday afternoon. Excellent. I think that would be great. I believe the elephants may be doing some synchronised drinking across at Aldonio. Let's go and look at this synchronised drinking. Harriet Hodgins, it's an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for being here. And yes, I agree. Big thank you to All in FC that makes that happen. See you all in a few moments for Sunset Safari. Have a good one. I hope you all have a great afternoon out there. Erica Oldknow, it's a pleasure. Thank you for joining us, Erica Oldknow. And FC, enjoying and informative as usual. I am going to go, my homework today is to find out if sun does indeed change fur colour. Like my gut says yes, but my logic says no. So I will do. Oh, this is Floppy here. Hello, Floppy. This is the elephant that sometimes causes problems here. This guy with a folded over ear. And I'm also going to go and check out the woman who got bitten by a mongoose. Terrible, anyone getting bitten by anything. I hope she's okay. Thank you all so much for joining us this afternoon. It's been an absolute pleasure as always. I love hearing from everyone, getting absorbed into thinking around the why and how of things. Absolutely fascinating. I can confirm that the eruption of antelope horns is indeed no worse than mild teething, and only when that first eruption happens from those little horn buds. Finish this Sunday afternoon with some trunk reflections, and fascinating indeed that science has proven that elephants are, well, that the feedback I've found to date, I have not read the scientific paper, but initial research suggests that science states elephants have been known to be able to recognise themselves in mirrors, one of the only few only species that has been recognised in doing so. I hope you all have a fabulous rest of Sunday. I'm going to be cooking a roast today, roast chicken. First time in a very long time, but I hope you also have a lovely Sunday afternoon. Keep watching those cameras.
Welcome to Safari Spotlight. Come with us as we discover some of South Africa's most wild places, the Lowveld, the Eastern Cape and the Waterberg. We'll track and hopefully find some wonderful wildlife while basking in the magnificence of these landscapes, all filled with a sense of African wonder. If you like what you see on Safari Spotlight, you can visit these wild and special places by visiting wildearth.travel. We'll plan your dream African safari.
So what a lovely morning chorus we have here. BK and I are just taking some time to listen to all the birds calling this morning. We had a really cool sighting of a pied babbler, or 3 pied babblers actually, and a little red-billed hornbill came in and chased them away. My name is Kerry Dupree. Behind me on the camera we have BK. Got a beautiful sunrise. Just to my left, wildebeest just behind us, just enjoying the nice sounds of Mabula Private Game Reserve. So my plan for the day, see what birds we can find. Also want to go and check out these mountains behind us. Mocking Cliff Chat up there would be pretty cool. And I always say to BK, see those rocks up there on the edge of the mountain? There's some beautiful rocky outcrops that I'm convinced one day we're going to find a leopard lying up on those rocks. Fingers crossed, not guaranteed, but I always keep a very good eye out. So BK